Tashdile everyone, I'm Sakina Butt and welcome to Tibet This Week, a weekly feature in English that tells you about this week's news on Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Central Tibetan Administration. Let's look at the headlines first. The Avalokiteshvara lineage in the Tibetan tradition was founded by a female practitioner, His Holiness the Dalai Lama in Bodh Gaya. Thank You Taiwan billboards adorn major Taipei roads. New Tibet Museum will present Tibet's Power of Truth, CTA President. CTA launches Ganjong Development Finance Private Limited. China's reaction to Marriott's Tibet gaffe shows signs of insecurity, writes Tibet.net's editor. Trending this week on social media, Tashi Wangchuck, Tibetan language advocate. On Sunday this week, His Holiness the Dalai Lama began a 3-day teaching on Nagarjuna's commentary on Bodhicitta and 37 practices of Bodhisattva at the Kalachakra ground, Bodh Gaya in Bihar. The teaching is being organized at the request of Tibetan and Mongolian devotees. Over 30,000 devotees, including 10,000 monks and nuns, 3,300 foreigners from 70 different countries attended this teaching. On his third-day teachings, His Holiness recounted the highly empowered female Buddhist practitioners who happened several hundred years ago and of their immeasurable contributions in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. Conferring the Avalokiteshvara empowerment to over thousands of devotees from Tibet, Mongolia, Taiwan and the West, His Holiness said, "Today, in the contemporary world, there is so much talk about feminism. This lineage of Avalokiteshvara practice that the Tibetan tradition received has come down from the Bhikshuni Palmo, a female Buddhist practitioner. Gelongma Palmo or Bhikshuni Palmo is the founder of the Nyungne lineage who lived during the 10th or 11th century. The practice of Avalokiteshvara associated with Nyungne has since widely spread in Tibet. Since 31st December 2017, the International Association of Tibetan Buddhist Dharma, Taiwan, in collaboration with the Office of Tibet, have placed as many as 60 Thank You Taiwan billboards on all the major roads in Taipei. The calendar and billboards constitute a prelude to a series of events and activities scheduled to mark as Thank You Year to express appreciation to the people and governments of countries across the globe for supporting the cause of Tibet and the Tibetan people. On the occasion of Thank You Taiwan Year, Tibetans in Taiwan will also commemorate this year the 20th founding anniversary of Taiwan Office of Tibet. On Friday last week, the Tibet Museum of Department of Information and International Relations organized a press conference to launch its new Tibet Museum project. This is following the conclusion of a 2-day meeting of curators and content developers for New Tibet Museum. The New Tibet Museum will be based at the Tibet Building in Ganchen Kishong, Dharamshala. President Dr. Lobsang Singye of the Central Tibetan Administration said, "Following His Holiness the Dalai Lama's advice of preparing for the worst and hoping for the best, the Kasha devised the 550 vision. Under the 550 vision, we will try to achieve genuine autonomy for Tibet through the middle way approach in the next 5 years. In order for us to achieve genuine autonomy, we need to strategize in order to strengthen and sustain our cause for the next 50 years. The Tibet Museum's role of raising awareness about Tibet and presenting Tibet's history play a critical part in the 50-year strategy," he said. Raising awareness about Tibet is pivotal to strengthening international support for the Tibet issue. The Tibet Museum will present Tibet's 60 years of tragic history under Chinese occupation and the several thousand years of history as an independent nation to build an understanding of what happened to Tibet under China. He added, Secretary Sonam Norbu Thakpo announced a master's scholarship worth 2 lakhs to one Tibetan student. Secretary Darden Shaling announced an open competition worth 1 lakh for submission of concept brief for the new museum's memorial project. Museum Director Tashi Wangchuck said, "Our main hope is to develop the Tibet Museum in such a way that it doesn't feel like the Museum of CTA or DIIR or any organization, but one that belongs to Tibet and the Tibetan people. It would carry the hopes and aspirations of the entire Tibetan people." The new Tibet Museum will be spacious and more advanced in technology, providing visitors a unique opportunity to explore and experience an uncensored version of Tibet. On Wednesday this week, President Dr. Singye inaugurated Ganjong Development Finance Private Limited, a non-banking financial corporation of the Department of Finance, Central Tibetan Administration. The new company is registered under the Companies Act administered by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Government of India. Addressing the press conference, President Dr. Singye said, "The Ganjong Development Finance Private Limited is the culmination of a series of deliberations by successive kashas over the need of a financial corporation in the Tibetan community." He said this initiative is part of the Kasha's 550 vision and the principle of self-reliance, one of the 3 guiding principles of Kasha. Finance scholar Karma Yeshe said that the most important object of the company is to strengthen Tibetan economy and transform it into an economically self-reliant community. Chief Planning Officer Dr. Kunchok Tsundu said that the registration of the NBFC is the first step towards the company becoming a full-fledged bank. He said the formation of the company is part of the Kasha's 550 vision to strengthen Tibetan economy and alleviate the economic hardships faced by the Tibetans in exile. Marriott Hotel, a US-based hotel chain operating in China, recently attracted the ire of the communist country after it listed Tibet as a country in one of its questionnaires. As a retribution for not respecting China's sovereignty, China rebuked the hotel and blocked its website and mobile phone app for a week. Tibet.net's editor-in-chief, Jampel Shonu, in his opinion piece titled "China's Reaction to Marriott's Tibet Gulf Shows Signs of Insecurity," reasons that this strong reaction by China over such a minor issue exposes China's insecurity over its territorial integrity. He said that the outward appearance of confidence by China's leader betray a deep fear and nervousness of a possible national disintegration. Jampel further explains that the middle way approach, which seeks genuine autonomy for the Tibetan people and not complete separation, could remove this nervousness of the Chinese leadership. Jampel also reasons that the paranoia that China has of Tibetan separatism is misplaced, and that the Chinese leadership should rather harness the potential of the middle way approach to resolve the Tibet issue. Netizens across the world are talking about Tashi Wangchuck's trial that ended without a verdict on January 4th this year. He is convicted for advocating language rights for Tibetans in a 9-minute documentary film for the New York Times titled "A Tibetan's Journey for Justice," and published in 2015, for which he was tried in the court for inciting separatism, a criminal charge equivalent to seeking independence from China. Jonna M. Kessel, the Times journalist whose work focuses on human rights and global affairs, has written an opinion column in New York Times entitled "How China Used a Times Documentary as Evidence Against Its Subject." He was infuriated for using his work as evidence against Tashi Wangchuck's trials. International communities like United Nations officials, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, PEN America and the United States Embassy in Beijing have stood up for Tashi Wangchuck and publicly criticized the Chinese government for the violation of human rights and misleading of his case. European Union and Germany have also spoken over Tashi Wangchuck's arrest at the United Nations Human Rights Council. So much for this week. See you next time. Have a great weekend.